August 1939. The air in Warsaw felt strained, electric, as if the city itself held its breath. Lieutenant Jan Kowalski stood by a window in the military barracks, watching dark clouds roll over the Vistula River. The newspapers whispered of secret pacts and promises broken. "They will come soon," murmured Captain Nowak beside him. The words lingered like smoke. Across Europe, diplomats danced desperately around looming disaster, but the rhythm had already changed. Tanks rumbled across the German borderlands, and in Berlin, orders were being signed in ink that would bleed red across the continent. Jan tightened his gloves, sensing the magnitude of what was coming. "If they come, we will stand," he told himself quietly. Outside, thunder cracked, not from the sky, but from the distant drills of an army preparing for war. At dawn on September 1st, 1939, the earth trembled. The German blitzkrieg tore across the Polish frontier, steel beasts roaring beneath a sky filled with Stukas. Jan's unit was stationed near Mokra, ordered to hold the line against overwhelming odds. The air was alive with flame and shrapnel. Horses reared as machine gun fire tore through the fields. "Hold steady," shouted Jan, though fear coiled in his gut. He watched his comrades fall, the air drowned in noise and smoke. The world had shifted in a single morning. Peace shattered, replaced by a relentless mechanical storm. Beneath the aerial assault, he could only piece together patches of courage amid despair. He realized then this would not be a skirmish, but the beginning of an age of ruin. The capital screamed. By mid-September, Warsaw lay beneath a canopy of flames. Civilians rushed through shattered streets, clutching children and memories in trembling arms. Jan's unit had retreated to the city, forming a desperate defense. Artillery thundered night and day, windows shattered with every burst. In the ruins of Krakowskie Przedmieście, a nurse whispered prayers while bandaging soldiers with bloodied hands. "They said the West would come," she gasped. Jan only nodded, unable to lie anymore. The Luftwaffe descended again, and smoke blackened the sun. He saw the royal castle turn to ash, the once proud skyline collapsing into ruin. Every explosion seemed to erase another piece of Poland's soul. Yet amid the ruin, the defenders refused to surrender. "Warsaw lives," Jan whispered, gripping his rifle, "as long as we stand." September 17th. As Warsaw smoldered, news spread like poison. The Soviets had crossed the eastern border. From Bialystok to Lvov, the Red Army advanced under crimson banners, carving up what remained of Poland's hope. Jan was stunned into silence. "So this is how it ends," muttered his comrade Pyotr, staring at a tattered map. Two armies pressed from opposite sides, crushing the heart of a nation that never stopped fighting. Refugees flooded the roads, their wagons creaking under the weight of despair. Children cried for fathers already gone to the front. In the chaos, Jan gathered his men and turned south, toward Hungary, toward uncertain survival. As they moved through burning villages, he looked over his shoulder at the land he swore to defend. The Poland he knew was being erased. Snow fell early that year, cloaking the Carpathian passes in white silence. Jan and a band of survivors trudged south, exhausted and famished. Soviet patrols prowled behind. German aircraft patrolled the sky above. Every step felt stolen from death itself. "Keep moving," Jan urged softly, his breath fogging the frozen air. At night, by dim firelight, men spoke of families lost, of homes razed. Some still believed they might reach France, where Polish forces regrouped. The silence between them spoke louder than words. They were soldiers without a country. When they finally crossed into Hungary, the guards looked upon them with pity more than suspicion. Jan knelt, clutching a handful of foreign soil, realizing the bittersweet truth. He had escaped his homeland, but not his war. In exile, Jan found himself among thousands of displaced soldiers gathered in France. Lyon, winter 1940, the city bristled with uneasy hope. Polish regiments formed again, donning new uniforms but carrying the same grief. "We fight for what was lost," Jan told a young recruit, scarcely older than his brother had been. The air was thick with rumors of German mechanized might gathering on the border. French officers spoke of strategy, of the Maginot Line's safety, but Jan sensed the same brittle optimism that had preceded Poland's fall. Yet for him, surrender was unthinkable. Around nighttime fires they sang softly, not songs of glory, but remembrance. For every fallen comrade, for every ruined street of Warsaw, their courage rekindled. The war had taken their homeland, but not their resolve. May 1940 unleashed chaos anew. German panzers smashed through the Ardennes, bypassing fortified lines like a knife through paper. Jan, now serving in the Polish 1st Grenadier Division, witnessed the collapse firsthand. "They're everywhere!" shouted his sergeant, as enemy tanks rolled through French villages. Smoke and screams intertwined. The sky turned the color of rust as towns burned one after another. Jan fought fiercely, knowing retreat meant captivity. But the French defense splintered. By June, the evacuation of Dunkirk was underway, a desperate exodus. Jan looked toward the English Channel, its gray waves carrying the hope of survival. As France fell into silence, he swore to continue the struggle wherever the free world still stood. The war was far from over, the fight merely changed shores. England was gray and cold, yet it shimmered with defiance. Jan arrived in 1940 as part of the rebuilt Polish forces integrated with the RAF and Allied command. On the airfields of Britain, mechanics raced under blacked-out skies, preparing Hurricanes and Spitfires. The Battle of Britain raged above, and the Polish 303 Squadron became legends. Though Jan was an infantryman, he found purpose training new recruits, listening as engines roared overhead. "They fly for us all," he whispered. London nights were lit by fires as sirens screamed, but the spirit of the island held firm. Amid rubble and unity, Jan found faith once more, not only in survival, but in victory. The war that had begun in despair now flickered with cautious hope. Years passed, filled with the thunder of campaigns: North Africa, Italy, Normandy. Jan fought beneath foreign flags, but his heart carried the white and red of Poland. In 1945, he stood near Berlin as victory loomed. "It's ending," said Pyotr, his eyes hollow from years of battle. But Jan knew peace would not come easily. News reached them that Poland was now under Soviet control, a bitter twist to the victory they had bled for. When the guns finally fell silent, he knelt among the ruins and wondered if freedom was truly won. Around him, soldiers wept not for triumph, but for what was lost and never returned. The war had burned away youth and illusion, leaving only the resilience of those who refused to surrender their humanity. Years later, in a quiet English countryside, Jan visited a small cemetery where Polish exiles rested. The air was still, heavy with remembrance. He traced names carved into cold stone, comrades who never saw their homeland free. "We fought so the world might learn," he whispered into the wind. Yet history's lessons were fragile things. Around him, the new world of peace was being rebuilt upon the bones of the old. In his heart, Warsaw still burned, but it also endured, reborn in every act of courage, every memory preserved. As he placed the single white and red flower upon a grave, the clouds parted faintly. The war was over, yet its echoes would sing through generations, a solemn hymn of sacrifice and endurance.